All right, so this is going to be an exclusive conversation on the topic Gujarat warehousing boom, decoding the opportunities and challenges. And the session will be chaired by Rumit, Parikh, Senior Director, Occupier Strategy and Solutions, Retail, Industrial and Logistics, Branch Head, Ahmedabad, Knight Frank, India. Rumit ji has been in the real estate sector for the last 18 years. He has been instrumental in building up the client base through networking and business development. With great relationships across key developers and landlords, coupled with market intelligence, he ensures to get clients the best value add and support in the market. Moreover, his ability to understand the implications of a transaction for both the parties enables him to develop effective negotiating strategies on behalf of the clients. Ladies and gentlemen, our speakers, I'll be introducing them in alphabetical order. We have with us today Bakir Gandhi, Chairman, Managing Director, Crystal Group. Mr. Gandhi actively seeks growth by investing in a variety of systematically identified businesses. Under his leadership, Crystal Group has emerged as a national conglomerate venturing successfully in industrial and logistics parks, shopping malls, integrated residential townships, and of course, commercial establishments across the country that have a tie-up with FDI funds like Indospace, ESR, and clients like Amazon, Tata Goshen, Reliance, and a lot more. We also have with us today Bijal Chhatrapati, partner JSA Law Advocates and Solicitors. Bijal ji has almost 4 decades of invaluable and rich experience in handling various types of litigations, including corporate and commercial intellectual property rights, arbitrations, as well as transaction business covering mergers, acquisitions, joint ventures, PE investments, due diligence, conveyancing, real estate transaction, and drafting of commercial agreements as well. We also have the humble presence of Daljit Singh, Director, Marketing, NDR, InvIT. Daljit ji expertise includes land identification, corporate sales, designing the facility, construction, lease management, funding, vendor development, project management, and understanding supply chain management. He has earlier been associated with Indospace Development Management Private Limited as the Vice President, Leasing, Adani Ports and Logistics as Associate Vice President, Leasing LL as Associate Director, Delex Cargo India Private Limited as Head, Air Cargo, and NDR Warehousing as the Vice President. And also a special mention, please note, in place of Mr. Neerav Kothari, Director at Godwitt Construction, who unfortunately couldn't be with us over here today since we'll be missing him, of course, but then we are pleased to be joined by the founder of Godwitt Construction, Mr. Dhaval Mehta. To tell you all a bit about Mr. Mehta, he's the founder of Godwitt Construction and a first-generation entrepreneur who entered real estate without any conventional background. But, of course, with a strong instinct for people, places, and possibilities, he has conquered it all. Over the last decade, he has built Godwitt into a 3 million square feet portfolio of leased industrial assets, crafting strategies that consistently deliver value for both the occupiers as well as investors. His journey has been shaped as much by experience as much by his passions, and he credits the outdoors for teaching him adaptability and theater for honing his ability to listen, communicate, and lead with empathy, the right kind of emotion that's needed, of course. Today, whether he's envisioning asset life cycles, structuring capital, or building lean, resilient teams, he brings a grounded, human approach to the business of industrial real estate. Fantastic. We also have with us today Sandeep Shirke, Oppermann Business India Head and General Manager. Sandeep ji brings global perspective and deep technical expertise to the organization as Head and GM of Oppermann India. He, from driving advanced RF&D to leading international markets, is always focused on transformation and, most importantly, value creation. Oppermann India Private Limited, a part of the Oppermann Group, has established a state-of-the-art technical textile manufacturing facility in Ahmedabad, Gujarat. So ladies and gentlemen, can I request all of you to give a huge round of applause for all our speakers for the first session as I invite them on stage, please. And ladies and gentlemen, like I said, this is the first session. So of course, can I have some more participation from people at the back in terms of clapping and appreciation, please? I request all our speakers to join me on stage, please, together. Thank you so much. Couldn't get better than this. Thank you. Welcome all of you. I request all of you to take your seats and in the order where the photos are. I think that would be perfectly aesthetic. Yes, yes, correct. Right. Just to match up with the aesthetics, maybe a little bit of an extra effort, but then thank you so much. Give it up once again for them, please, ladies and gentlemen, if I may request. Thank you so much. The first exclusive conversation of the day. The stage is set, the speakers are ready. We have the timer in place for you for your reference, and I request you all to take it forward from here. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's a real pleasure to host this panel and being a moderator, and thanks to Realty Plus for hosting this event on a year-on-year basis. And this is, I think, one of its kind in terms of having all the stalwarts together of the real estate fraternity. So it is a pleasure to address you today, all of you. And the subject is something which is very, very close to the heart of all the stalwarts who are there with me on the panel. Gujarat warehousing boom, decoding opportunities and challenges. Since 2017, Gujarat has emerged as one of the India's most prominent logistic and warehousing hubs, owing to its strategic location, world-class infrastructure, and policy-driven industrial growth. Back in 2017, the state has had grade A and grade B warehousing stock was estimated at around 12 to 15 million square feet, with major activity clustered around Ahmedabad, Gandhi and Vapi. Fast forward to 2025, Gujarat's warehousing footprint has more than doubled, crossing 35 million square feet, with Ahmedabad alone contributing more than 40%, having 15 million plus square feet. The annual absorption in the state has consistently grown at a CAGR of 15 to 18%, reflecting strong demand from e-commerce, 3PL, FMCG, and industrial occupiers. Sanand, Bechraji, Mundra, Vadodara, Surat, Hazira have been explosive growth in industrial warehousing parks and demand from industrial occupiers as well. Gujarat is poised to be a 1.5 billion warehousing economy by the end of this decade. Ahmedabad's warehousing market surged in 2024-25 with leasing touches 5 million square feet, a 25% YOY rise, led by a 49% share from manufacturing, up by 28%, alongside growing roles of e-commerce, FMCG, FMCD, and cold storage, even as 3PL and retail has seen some shrunk. Grade A space accounted for 55% of deals, with rentals between 20 to 26 per square feet per month, signaling rising demand for quality warehousing even as land cost and institutional developer scarcity remain constraints. With this, I will open up with this panel for the first question to Dhaval Mehta. If you can share some light, Dhaval bhai, on evolvement of cold storage post-COVID, and from a developer point of view, how is cold storage different from dry ambient warehousing?
So our experiment with cold store is also very new. Cold store, I was just talking to Bakir bhai. So basically, we have only seen cold store as a very shabby, low height buildings where they store food grains and vegetables, and so the entire value chain of cold store is yet to happen in the country. So from refrigerating the vegetables, from pre-packed foods to the end-to-end delivery, the entire value chain is just getting started. So I'm sure as the residential market, commercial market evolved, before a few years even industrial was not considered as one of the mainstream market. And
so we were calling it go downs earlier.
Yeah. So all of us here have brought industrial real estate to that point where it is now being discussed extensively. So even cold store would have its journey. Lot of people now understands the importance of it. Government has extensively given a lot of subsidies around it. But I truly believe that any business who with its own individual potential will always do good with or without the subsidies. You know, you cannot build your business around it.
So with this, I think while you have told about government, I would like to ask Bakir bhai, what government policies or incentives have been currently instrumental or should be implemented in encouraging warehousing development in Gujarat?
Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, so Gujarat government has a Gujarat industrial policy, Atmanirbhar policy, which is there for 2020 to 2025. And of course, the benefits are something like that. We get interest on a capital investment and CGST of the 8% of the capital investment done year on year for the next year. You get the exemption on the electricity duty on the whatever is there. And plus in some of the cases there is a stamp duty exemptions are also there. Apart from that, it has a single window systems also where it helps you out to get the approvals. But I think so in Gujarat, we don't face any such kind of the problem in the approvals particularly. As the government is proactive earlier and the laws are as such defined in such a manner that it runs very faster compared to the other state, as we also develop in Mumbai, in Maharashtra and Bangalore, particularly in Karnataka and Chennai and all that. So compared to all the state, we have a very simple systems and I think so it doesn't take that much time or pain, I would like to say that, to get it approval. So I think so the more atmosphere over here or for as far as the approvals and things are concerned are very positive and anybody can get very easily. Yeah.
I think our state is having a red carpet specifically in terms of the manufacturing and the logistic thing. So I think the state as well supports this particular segment very well.
So just to add to what Bakir bhai said, Rumit, while doing the first cold store, the one that we saw the video of, there was two things which was happening for the first time in Gujarat. It is India's first frozen category ASRS cold store. ASRS is automated storage and retrieval system. So the building height is almost 33 meter. And the firefighting system is a nitrogen-based firefighting system. So for both of these things, for building, industrial building above 15 meter, there is no law. Sure. And for a nitrogen-based firefighting system also, there is no law. Correct. But as Bakir bhai rightly pointed out, this is a very proactive government. We reached out to them that this is the requirement of the future. And this is how the buildings are going to be made. This is the experiment. They kind of did their learning process along with us. And now, because that building is there, there is an approval system for a building which goes about 15 meter and a firefighting system which has nitrogen in it.
Lovely. So I think, accompanied with the government policies and the level of
And just to add that, also that our government for industrial, even you can start the work without approvals also, and during the construction you can take, there is no penalty or things if it is as per the DCRs and all that. And so that is how Gujarat has a very good atmosphere as far as.
Great. I think we heard it from the two developers who are pioneers into making such kind of infrastructure. With this, let me ask Sandesh, as he's onto the occupier side of the business. Any bottlenecks in utility connections, operating licenses, pollution control board permission, or other compliances in Gujarat compared to other states?
So, hello. Yeah. So, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Since I'm not from this industry, okay, so I'll speak honestly about how I had an experience starting a company, that too from Germany all the way to Ahmedabad. I have been to Chennai, been to Pune, Ahmedabad. I decided to come to Ahmedabad or Sanand for that matter, for three main reasons. One being the close proximity to one of the deepest ports of India, Mundra. We manufacture goods that are exported, so almost 95, 96% of my manufacturing goes for export to US. And the second is the connectivity. If I load a container, 6 in the morning, the same day or the next day morning, it reaches Mundra port. So the connectivity is quite good in comparison to other states. And the third one, which, after staying and born and brought up in Mumbai, I realized that labor unions are really a pain in the ass. So that's something which I realized it's not there. And so these are the major reasons for me to, and of course, I mean, there's industry hub growing up in Sanand. Automotive it's dominating in Sanand with Tata and, the likewise coming around. So, and we make seat belts. So we are into manufacturing of seat belts. That's the reason why we have come there. After going through all these, locations, Pune, Chennai, and then the reason was very well specified now. After coming here, there has been certain challenges. To be honest, even though, sir, Bakir bhai, I think, even though there is, a single window possibility to work around, I must say this: there is a lot of human interventions, and these human interventions, sometime, क्या होता है, you go with a good faith to get your job done and to get the work done with the focus of starting manufacturing as soon as possible. But there are, due to this human interventions, there are certain red tapes which slows down the process. It boils down everything to how much energy, time, resources, and money you have to pour in order to get that job done. So one thing is the human interventions, which needs to be brought down, and I think the government is very proactive in doing so. The second is physical visits, whether it's any utility that has to be done, whether it's high, especially when it comes to HT connections. There has been a lot of visits even after fulfilling all the requirements, which can be, somewhere or the other has to be looked into, so that the time that it needs or the time that it consumes to get the ball rolling will be brought down further. Been to many states, been to other countries, have lived in Germany for almost 7-8 years, but excellent services, but all these, if heads up could be taken care, will be very, very helpful for from the manufacturer's point of view. Thank you.
So I'll just to reply to that, I'll tell you, it's more a channelized system or the system which how you enter that depends on that. So I'll give you an example. We were just evaluating to have a warehousing in US. We were there in New York, then and all the IPCs were helping us in getting in New Jersey, in Texas, even in Florida. And we identify some plot, and I was under an image that I'll put the applications and I'll get the permission in 7 days. So we just to add just to know how things work. So we identify one plot, and they said no, if you take this plot, it will take a lot of time, at least for this and that, 5 years it will take. And then we said, okay, we will buy out some property which already has a pre-approvals. So we finalized that 150-acre land where they have a restriction on this highway 10, the trucks can allowed and this and that. And it was already approved. So we thought, okay, we are doing a JV, we'll be starting on the next early morning of the Monday, and we'll be doing this. So JLL was dealing for that, yeah. And they said, sir, in that case also it will take 2 years. So just for your information.
No. So because Sandesh started with the sentence that I am not from this industry, I just want to mention that the entire industry revolves around you because you are a customer and you are the starting point of this industry. So you are part and central to this industry. And of course, we are not government representative. So your point is very well taken. I am sure Reality Plus.
It's the right channel, what we are trying to say.
Reality
And
Plus.
there also in US also, there are consultants who take care of
So
this.
Reality
do.
Plus
It's
should
channelized.
take
We are
this
just
feedback.
organizing.
Reality Plus should take this feedback to the government that though we are probably the best in the country, but there is still room to kind of make it better.
Sure. I think, Sandesh mentioned that, from India to Germany and back to India and then to Gujarat. I think he gave a right perspective that, things are in the right process and right place in terms of at least Gujarat. With this, I would like to ask Daljit, what distinguishes Gujarat's warehousing sector from other states in India?
Sure. So, once upon a time, Gujarat was primarily an agriculture state. Now, if you see, at the moment, I think 60% of the GDP from Gujarat is from industries. Gujarat is leading the way in terms of textiles, you name petrochemicals, auto, they are there everywhere. Yeah, pharma as well, of course, sorry. Thanks for adding that. Yeah. So why this growth in Gujarat? There are three main reasons why a warehouse or industry comes up in any state. One is the strategic location. Okay. Second, you need government approvals, which I think most of them have spoken about. And the third is the consumption. So Gujarat is blessed, I think, with 40 plus ports at the moment. So you have your port-based warehousing, industrial, which is huge. Most of them import or export stuff, whoever manufactures here. So that gives demand to the port-based logistics, port-based warehousing, industrial happens. Then comes your manufacturing, which is close to your manufacturing setups like Sanand, Surat is evolving, Ankleshwar, stuff like that. The third is of course, your consumption cities. Ahmedabad is a huge consumption city. Surat is following its footsteps. There are smart cities which are coming up from the government side. So all this has made Gujarat a very, very potential hub for industrial and warehousing to grow.
Great.
What is the second question?
No, so I think I'll come for the second question, that's for sure. But I think you also gave the right perspective why you had entered Gujarat, basically.
Yes, I think, see, the way, as all of you mentioned, I mean, both Bakir bhai and Dhaval bhai had mentioned, the ease of doing business in Gujarat and the speed with which you get approvals, the entrepreneurship that is with all of you who's from this state is unmatched from any other state. So that also creates a problem because since there is so much ease of business, there's so much, there's no restriction into entry into this, into any business, right? So it creates a lot of competition. So we've taken a few strategic decisions that we will not enter some locations, but there are a few locations in Gujarat where we see a good steady growth.
So with this, I would like to ask Bijal bhai. I think we have developers here, we have funds here, we have the occupier here. You are the, I would say, the main person in terms of getting the things on the right place where, the legalities comes into the place. So what are the most common legal hurdles in acquiring industrial or warehousing land in Gujarat?
So of course, thank you Rumit bhai and good afternoon ladies and gentlemen. So acquisition of land is what you start with, the first thing, and it's a rather complex process. Apart from the fact that there are conversion issues which typically plague the industry, then you have these fragmented land holdings. So you wonder whether you're going to be able to buy your land portion from one farmer or 10 farmers. How long is it going to take? Are you going to go in one hog or are you going to do a gradual process? of course, the side effects are the price immediately shoots up, and very often these listed corporates will have to rely upon an outside aggregator who will acquire the land, but then there's a lot of heartburn. One doesn't know whether he's getting the right deal at the right price. So that is the reality. And of course, the whole process is quite complex. So while these gentlemen, of course, put up the rosy picture, it's a problem cases which come to us. So I'll just give you one or two illustrations. So there is this French company which acquired a land for a factory. It acquired from an Indian company which had acquired from an agriculturist. They had obtained the permissions for bona fide industrial use. And then it was sold. However, as you know, there is this small print that while you get this NA permission, you have to commence manufacturing within a stipulated period. So when this French company bought, that fine print was possibly missed because that earlier company had not started manufacturing. So therefore, the moment they went for mutation, this whole problem arose. Now, had they even known earlier, the earlier owner could have applied for permission, and upon payment of penalty, he could have possibly regularized. But then this sale happened without that permission. Now, so things are so complex that for an outsider, it is so difficult to understand these niceties. Another issue which is directly concerning warehousing is that I had a client which is one of the India's topmost e-commerce marketplace players. So they have this logistic arm where they have these massive warehouses where typically what happens is goods come which have already been bought. So you say, let's say 100 Samsung phones will come in a huge packet. Each Samsung phone is packed individually, naturally. So what they do is, like a post office, they open the larger box, they segregate the boxes, sort them out, and maybe put them in that brown cover, and then dispatch to retail. They were sued under the Factories Act, saying you have 10 or more people, you have a completely automated process, you use power, so you are a factory. Now, it must be said that the definition of factory and manufacturing does include packing. But that packing means it's a continuous process without which you can't sell. But here the entire thing is pre-packed. You don't even open the Samsung packaging. And well, you can imagine prosecution, all the directors are joined, they got up in their seat, and it's a MNC. They said, what is happening? We, of course, went to court, we got the whole thing quashed. But so there's a lot of regulatory overreach which is also happening.
Sure. So, but otherwise, do you feel that, is there anything which you gave the illustration of, NA getting expired and then it would have been done. But for specifically the occupiers, anything which needs to be, checked or probably taken into consideration that, with this, the things can go in the right direction?
That's a huge list. All I can say, there's a lot of things to be tick-marked, and you need a lot of legal assistance for sure. Because everything from title due diligence, you have to look at the agreements, and you have to go back 30 years, you have to do searches, everything is not online. Yeah. So you have to physically go, the clerk will tell you, oh, but I don't have these 5 years papers, they are missing, they are torn. So it's little complex.
Sure. With this, I would like to ask Dhaval bhai, how do you assess the growing demand for organized worker housing in India, and where do you see this market in the next 5 years?
So, very much like cold store, blue collar housing is also in a very nascent stage. Still not born, I would say, still in the making. We have just taken an initiative to start the vertical for worker housing. And so basically, if you go back in time, Tatas and Birlas of the world used to have the entire town created around their factory.
Yes.
And I think that entire way of keeping your people close and looking after their complete well-being kind of vanished in between. I think what we are seeing is probably the rebirth of that. in of course, 21st century. So Foxconn just did about 30,000 housing for their workers within their premises. And more corporates are taking that as a responsibility that, if we provide, it's probably for their goods also to kind of retain talent. But like warehouse, of course, I mean, we consider warehouse also as a building. So this is actually housing. The place where you live and work should be lovable, likable, livable. And the condition of the workers, or probably one level above the line workers, today is of course not something that we can be proud of. So as a developer, as an industry, and the government, all of the stakeholders collectively realize that this is something that needs to be addressed. I think the number of workers that are living outside their native to go to one or other factory in the country and not having proper housing is some 90 lakh people.
I agree.
So there is so much to be done. We are taking the baby steps towards that direction, but I think for next 10 years, this is one segment that will get a lot of traction from every stakeholders involved.
Sure. Bakir bhai, how warehousing emerging as a viable and attractive real estate asset class for institutional investors in the state?
So, just to answer this, I'll start with these two gentlemen who has pointed out the pain point. So, there are lots of people over here in the city who's holding a land and want to become a warehouser. It's just what? You have to make a box and give it on a lease. That's the thing. So, it's not that. The story is very different. We have a MNC client like Amazon and all that who are there from 2014 to till that. We are making in various cities of the country. Even we are planning for some out of the country things. So as saying that for the institutional player to acquire a land, to get the approvals and the compliances, I mean, just to name the compliances, I'll tell, to make a building, it's not really a building plan. It's not only a fire approval, there is a CTE, there is a CGWF for a water, which some of might not be taking for that, for a borewell and all that. And there is a CTO for the operations, and there are the categories for that, white goods and all that. As sir rightly said, that somebody might have made a mistake in getting a CTO under the orange or white, he might have faced the same problem.
I agree.
We do for Amazon, we do for Reliance, we do for we take under the white category, to give an example. So it's a subject expert things. So again, coming back to the funds or any of the why they are, so particularly even looking to the clientele in these days, most of the MNC would prefer a huge park where it is owned and held by some of the funds for a longer period. So as the lease are normally of 10, 15 years and they want painless, they want a hassle-free occupancy till the date, even the expansions are there. Compared to the locals where you have a single warehouse and the remaining infrastructures are not there. So again, as we say, a grade A. So grade A is not that you make a very beautiful building. It's with the surroundings, how you should have a global designing, global logistic designing and the surroundings including the road, infra, stormwater, etc., etc. So along with the approvals and compliances, future compliances also, where the renewals, etc. has been taken, like STP and all that. So definitely, there are very few players who are dealing with the funds. So to get them enter, it's the right way is that to have such kind of, as we deal with couple of funds, already we have 3-4 funds already partnering and JV with us. So yeah, you rightly said there are issues in that part. It's not easily to acquire the land and come or any of the foreign companies currently entering and buying the land from the market.
Yes.
It's a challenge.
I agree.
Yeah.
Sure. With this, Sandesh, good quality or competitive pricing what is more important from an occupier perspective and why?
Okay, so see, as an occupier, both the things are important. You just can't, keep one side stronger than the other. I'll speak on what experience I have got when I took this space for my manufacturing unit. So being an international company, so we have 12 plants in different locations across the globe, almost on all the continents. So we have a certain requirements in terms of the quality of the building. We have international clients, when they come to visit us, they just do not see the product that we make, and they are also interested, especially the Europeans are very interested to see the construction quality that has gone into, what are the things that has been taken care, what is the long-term perspective that you see. All these points do come into picture when they visit us, also from the customer's point of view. Pricing, again, that's something which can be debated on, but I feel the pricing point of view from the Gujarat state is very, very, very competitive. I have seen the pricing that Pune attracts or has got the rates. Very, very satisfied with the pricing strategy that has been implemented across the Gujarat state for the manufacturers.
With the quality, you get the right price also.
Yes, very much, very much. And especially when, if you see I can speak about Godwitt, the construction that they have made, this is something which I had seen before, but not very much observed in India. Very happy with the quality at the price that they have given us. It's something which would like to thank you.
Great. With this, I would like to ask Daljit, how do you envision Gujarat's warehousing ecosystem in the next 5 years?
That's a tough one. Okay. I think we are moving towards there is a lot of uncertainty actually happening. Yeah, we have the Gen Zs coming our way. We don't know how they are going to buy stuff. We don't know how they're going to interact with people. We don't know whether they'll buy houses. We don't know whether they'll buy real estate. Okay. So, and what they've taught us is that we need things ASAP. So we'll see a lot of dark stores coming up. We'll see a lot of in-city warehousing. We'll see a lot of multi-level warehousing inside the cities to cater to all these people's demands. Second, one more thing that I see is a lot of cold storages that will come up. That's again because of our eating habits. I think in India, slowly we are moving to a place, you go to any restaurant on a weekday, it's always full. Whether it's lunch, dinner, people have stopped cooking at home. So there'll be a lot of microwave sales that will happen. There'll be a lot of food which will also get frozen. So we are just going to move there. So these two shifts that I see happening, and particularly, but Gujarat, see again, you still have a port. So a port is a lifeline for any country. So you will definitely keep having your port business. Your port logistics will definitely continue to happen. Your manufacturing will also stay. That will happen. Cold storage definitely will increase. In-city warehousing will lead the way, is what we see. And of course, sustainable development with grade A will be the focus for any and every developer who comes into Gujarat.
Sure. Bijal bhai, I would like to ask you, what are the challenges Gujarat face when we don't see many joint ventures between local developers and international fund houses for developing excellent grade A warehousing parks?
Yes, that has been noticed. So of course, as I said earlier, this whole acquisition and title process is a little disheartening. So in fact, also the fact that Jantri value will show one thing, where you ultimately acquire it at another value and all that. It's a little bit of confusing thing for a lot of foreign entities. Then practical situation, for instance, once which happened with our client was that when you talk of buying small portions of land from small individual farmers over a space of time, because you don't have at one go, at what stage does the Indian entrepreneur join hands with the foreign entrepreneur? At the beginning of the cycle or at the end of the cycle? Now at the beginning of the cycle, the foreign entrepreneur is a little concerned as to whether it will happen or not. At the end, possibly doesn't need the money because he's already made other provisions. So therefore, that is a practical kind of scenario which happens. Then I think, of course, these gentlemen are experts, but I think there's a little dearth of grade A assets, grade A in Gujarat. I think not more than 50% of the warehousing assets here are grade. No? Okay. So that is another thing. One other, of course, is that warehousing is perceived as a long gestational project. And so therefore the first question is, will the foreign company or joint venture partner have an exit? Yeah. Now there, unless the Indian partner is able to provide an exit, there could be some difficulties. Let me illustrate. We were concerned for one of the world's biggest automobile player who exited from Sanand. Everybody knows who that company is. Now, they had got the land as a grant from the government. But the stipulation of the grant was that you can't sell the land for a particular number of years. Now, their Indian operations were unviable, so they wanted to sell. But then, how do you sell the land on which your plant is situated?
Agreed. Exit is something.
Yeah, and this is always paramount in their minds. Ultimately, we were able to work things out, and as you know, the transaction did take place. So the other thing is also that I think in Gujarat particularly, you don't have large players with large size and transparent and well-governed bodies. Because governance is a major issue for any foreign lender or for a foreign joint venture partner. So, and there have been instances of trust deficit all along. Let me again share, because I think that kind of gives a little clarity. So we were concerned for a German bank, and the German bank gave a loan to a Indian Gujarat-based company. What happened was that the German bank got merged. So Bank A got merged into Bank B. And the Indian promoter in his annual reports started to show the merged entity as the creditor. Then it went into problems and insolvency, etc. The German bank, the merged bank, sued the Indian entity, saying that So can you imagine the Indian entity actually said that, sorry, we never recognized the merged entity. The annual reports were inadvertently drafted. We are retrospectively amending the annual returns in our balance sheet. And therefore, we do not recognize you as the merged entity. We do not recognize the assignment of loan from the old bank to the new bank. Now, what happens here is, and this is from where I'm answering your question. Typically, these foreign banks, the loans that they give are insured by a government institution. Now, in this process, because of all these silly objections were raised, the lender had to inform the government of Germany about all this. Now, what happens is, what do you expect the German government to say next time a German company wants to come to India? They're going to say, beware. Because if this is the kind of trust that you can get from an Indian partner, it becomes very difficult. So I think a lot needs to be done. We need to come up in terms of our integrity, our governance standards. I think.
Sure. So I think with this, I would conclude in a way that there are developers, there is fund, there is occupier, and there is law. There are opportunities, there are challenges, but in a way, I would say that from, I think, 5 of them, Gujarat is onto the right rise. And, because of that, what we are seeing as an in terms of the industrial boom, which is there, which is visible, and what it was back in 2010 to 17 and now in 2025, it has changed the entire outlook, which is very, very, very visible. With this, we conclude this panel, but I would like to ask the entire audience any questions to the esteemed speaker. We would be happy to take that.
Yes, just to mention specifically, we have a bandwidth for 2 questions. I would have loved to take more, sir, but then in the best interest of time. So we have bandwidth for 2 questions. Anybody willing to ask a question, please raise your hand. I see one hand over there. तो मैं आपके पास आता हूँ, sir. Please introduce yourself and direct the question to whom you are asking.
So I'm Manish and I'm representing VR Ahmedabad Realtor. And my question is to Dhaval bhai, as you are building up the new era for warehousing, for such as Daljit bhai also mentioned that we are moving with Gen Zs now, so there will be dark warehouses like even inside the city. So there would be chances of having pharma health related issues also with these Gen Zs. So are we building such warehouses for the pharma companies? Because as we have seen, we are the generation who has seen COVID also. In that situation, there were many medicines which were supposed to be kept in the cold storage for having a good condition medicines. So are we giving such facilities to some global brands also in Gujarat, or are we planning for such?
Hi Manish. So we just did a pharma warehouse for Intas, Neil.
Okay.
But to answer your question, we in Godwitt actually are not warehouse focused.
Okay.
We are primarily focused on the industrial real estate side. So we don't actually do warehousing as such.
Okay.
But yes, I mean pharma is going to be one of the key drivers in city or out of the city. Of course, the whole value chain, the clinical research, yes. Hyderabad is doing tremendously well in this segment. Though we have a very large pharma base in Ahmedabad and Baroda, so probably that backward integration will take place. And as and when the requirement comes in, I think Gujarat has enough local players, now a lot of international players who are there in all the micro markets to kind of serve whatever that, the requirement that comes in. So when the time comes, the question will be answered, and when the time comes, the requirements will be met. But pharma as a key driver of Gujarat growth will continue.
Sure. And just in continuation with the same question, as Bijal bhai have mentioned, there is so many law that restricts the international companies to come in India and to work. There are many pharma companies also who are now going back because of the new rules as GST and some other stuff in India. So warehousing for such pharma products like who are temperature sensitive, like insulins and other immunology drugs, the companies are giving their marketing right to the local players. As you have mentioned, you are doing the warehousing for Intas. There are multiple other companies as well who require warehousing in Gujarat itself, because most of the drugs are temperature sensitive. So it could be a good option of choosing warehousing in Gujarat. The reason being the structure that you have built recently, that you have shown in AV, is tremendously good, because it is auto, served to the temperature and everything. So it is much important to give such platform for these pharma, if we can give.
Yeah, just to add that, I mean, definitely there will be a separate parks for such kind of thing, because as you say, because pharma will need certain kind of AI. Suppose in AI, you need a huge space and a segregated area where these bulk drugs are being prepared. And just to add that, even there is a lot of opportunity in data centers, as we have a few of them coming in Sanand also, because our data center, after the AI, the requirement for this data and collections have grown by 10x to 20x. So this storage will be needed, and for that you need a huge amount of power and the water. And the infrastructures are very, it's such a huge amount of investments in the infrastructure of such kind of data centers and all that. So as Mr. Daljit says that they're looking to the habits with Gen Z, we considering the future generations and all that, the habits of people, not only in eating, I'd say we run a mall also. So it's the clothes, the occasional clothes, the style, the festivals, and the people, they say, post-COVID, they say you only live once. So that attitudes has changed the things, and definitely in a back end, same thing will be required. So yeah, definitely there is a lot of opportunity, but again, just to channelize that, you need a proper players to understand that, and the huge investment, of course, fund will be needed. Developers like us will be needed, who has the compliance and the approvals, the law needed, and of course the government supports are there. So this is what I think. So it's subject to conditions. Yeah, that's what my.
Thank you so much for that question. Thank you so much for all the wonderful answers. We can accommodate one more question, and yes, sir has his hand raised over there. Please introduce yourself and direct your question to the person you want to ask.
Namaskar, I'm Girish Patel, board member of Naredaco. As I would like to appreciate whole panel, more particularly Mr. Bijal ji, as you mentioned that the ultimate selling or renting cost price is 20 to 25. The most ignored part is fragmented land, time of acquisition, getting the permission, and if you do the reverse calculation, it is not opportunity, it is challenging. So what this platform, I would like to ask Mr. Chhatrapati, what is the main conclusion which can be presented to government of Gujarat? Thank you.
So one thing the government has done, for instance, it has eased regulatory requirements for the industrial corridor, for areas abutting the industrial corridor. So that, plus if the acquisition process is smoothened, that also efforts are there. So instead of a company requiring to purchase from individual farmers, if the land acquisition can be done in a smoother fashion, and if you are able to avoid consequential litigation after the acquisition, I think that can go a long way in dealing with this issue. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that question. Thank you so much for that answer. With that, we conclude the panel. Please give a big round of applause to all our esteemed speakers, please. I'll request all of you to please kindly wait on stage, and I'll request Mr. Harpal Dave, Additional Chief Town Planner, Town Planning and Valuation Department, Government of Gujarat, to please kindly come up on stage and give away the token of appreciation to our esteemed speakers over here. A big round of applause for Mr. Harpal as well, please, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much to all of you for sharing all the wonderful knowledge, insights and wisdom. And I was there last year, I loved it. I'm loving it this year as well. And I can't wait for next year as well. And thank you so much. Ek aakhri request, it's not every day that we get so many stalwarts all under one roof, right? So we deserve a group photo, hopefully. So I'll request all of you to please kindly come forward over here and pose for a nice group photograph. Please give it up for them, ladies and gentlemen. The group photograph number 1 of this very interesting and exclusive conversation. You know, मैं एक चीज यकीन करता हूं, अगर हम ताली बजाते हैं तो लोगों का मुस्कुराहट जो होता है वो थोड़ा और प्यारा हो जाता है, bright हो जाता है, and you see the instant result in them as well. Thank you so much.